first chinks in the armor came out for Charles Leclerc. Obviously, the track conditions probably assisted in that, trying to push, trying to make the most out of a situation. But Charles Leclerc giving up points, those are points you don't really want to be giving up when it comes to how close this World Championship was a year ago. He's had a great start to the year. I know he wanted more out of this weekend being a theoretical home race, but for Charles Leclerc, sixth place finish here at Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix is not what I think he was looking for by any stretch of the imagination.
Chucky boy. I guess regardless of whether it's a home race for Ferrari and whatever pressure that entails on them, I guess we've got to remember that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And having that big lead in the championship now, not quite cut in half, but, a chunk taken out thanks to the sprint points, the extra points they get from there. And yeah, chinks starting to show in the armor. Like when that happened, it was just a moment where you put your head in your hands and say, are we looking at, a Sebastian Vettel type capitulation potentially happening? Ferrari, it's so hard to trust Ferrari when it comes to a championship. I mean, this is just after, watching them fall over themselves for many years now since, they last won back in 2007. Their car could be bulletproof. It can be amazing in, 75% of the tracks we go to, and then there will be a couple of tracks that they struggle. But he just needed to realize, okay, this is not my weekend. It's not my race. Let's just cut our losses and get the trophy in third. It's still a good amount of points. I'm going to be still leading the championship with a healthy lead rather than taking the risks, potentially damaging the car. Power unit as well gets thrown into the equation, and it could have been much worse. He's lucky that incident at Variante Alta, he only brushed the wall. They just changed the front wing and he was on his way again, clawed back some positions to finish sixth, which was good. But if it ended up being a terminal problem, that's 0 points for him, and that could have been much worse. So that's where I guess we talked about Leclerc's maturity and, how great he was in the opening races, that he doesn't have that erratic style that he did perhaps in 2019 when he won his first couple of races. But I guess it gets thrown out the window when you look at that performance, because it just seemed like he was desperate, whether to get the fastest lap point or to get that half chance on Perez to finish second. And you can't really show that when you're going to be fighting for a world championship, and especially on a weekend when Red Bull pretty much took all the points that were on offer. They got the fastest lap, fastest in the sprint, and then winning the race too. Verstappen is just going to hoover up those points like we saw last year. So the onus is on Leclerc not to make those mistakes. And the mistake we saw this weekend, I mean, it was pretty bad. And for their sake, they better not do that sort of thing again, or he better be a lot more composed about it, because like you say, if the points get away from him, when we get into the crucial part of the season later, then he can't rely on the other team tripping over themselves, because, they've lost points, which, they could have easily had by finishing third.